All right, we are live on Facebook now, I believe. Usually Twitch is a few seconds behind, but that's okay. I'll be all set. So, welcome to episode 18 of the What Did Adam Say podcast, show, whatever you want to call it. I haven't really decided what it's going to be called yet. I have a very special guest with me today. She is one of the most inspirational people to me in the cannabis industry. Her story is amazing. Her grind is phenomenal, off the charts. She'll outwork everybody. And she's just an overall amazing person and doing great things for not only the cannabis community, but also like the hemp and CBD businesses out there. So this is Janet McAllister. She's the owner of Hippie Chick Natural Solutions. Amazing person. So I wanted to give her a chance to let her tell you about herself.
First of all, thank you, Adam, for having me on the show. I'm super excited to be on the show with you. You, in your own right, are a huge inspiration to a lot of people.
Oh, stop it.
As Adam said, I'm Janet from Hippie Chick Natural Solutions. I have a CBD and apothecary company up here in northern Maine. A lot of you have probably seen me at the NECAN shows and the Harvest Cup shows. Um, but yeah, we just have a lot of fun with CBD and making products that really help to encourage wellness in people.
Yeah, I remember the first time I met you. I was it was at Harvest Cup a few years ago, and I didn't even really know what I was doing there. I just kind of like showed up with a camera and was like, I am gonna go interview some people. Who wants to be interviewed? And you're like, oh, say hi to me. So here I was just like, okay, stop by the booth, do an interview real quick, and it ended up being such an amazing interview. I watched it back. I don't think I've ever told you this, but I remember I was editing it in my dining room, and my fiance was sitting next to me and she was listening, and I was crying, and I looked over and she was crying, and I was just like, yeah, like Janet's, she's powerful. Like, she's a very powerful woman. Her story is like very touching, and she's like, oh my god, oh my god. Like, so you touched multiple people without even really knowing it. I'm sure you know many more people through those videos.
Yeah, my journey into this industry has been pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think like a lot of people, and the more people that I meet coming into this industry, the more I realize that we're all kind of in this wellness journey for very personal reasons. Most of us come into this because of our own trauma, our own injuries, our own illnesses. Um, in 2010, my husband passed away from Crohn's disease, and more importantly, from the pharmaceuticals used to treat those Crohn's disease. Prednisone can cause an enlarged heart. It's pretty heavily prescribed to a lot of people, and it's not a side effect that they talk about very often. And unfortunately, cardiomyopathy, your heart exploding, is a side effect of prednisone,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes on with no warning whatsoever. Um, I was 28 weeks pregnant with my twins when he passed away. And 4 years after birthing my children, I was sitting in a doctor's office having one of my kids tested for Crohn's disease. And that was really the pivotal point in my life. And when I decided that there had to be better options, because the idea of putting my children on the pharmaceuticals that he was using really scared the hell out of me. I just couldn't imagine. Um, and with one of my twins, Abby, she in the early years, and because she was premature, she dealt with asthma. And of course, they want to put your kids on asthma or on steroids when you have asthma.
Breathing
And
treatments and the whole nine.
yeah, exactly. One thing I learned very quickly, and I was very careful using my children, in experimenting more or less. But I learned very quickly that frankincense, being
Hmm.
used internally and as aromatherapy, will eliminate an asthma attack almost faster than the albuterol they were giving her. So we've used frankincense. It's an incredibly powerful essential oil. Um, it's actually considered the king of all essential oils, and I'm very drawn to it. And after reading what it does on an emotional level, basically what it does for you emotionally is it allows you to deal with a sense of abandonment, and
Hmm.
there's nothing that leaves you feeling abandoned like the loss of your husband. So learning that for me was it was very eye opening how drawn to essential oils. Pay attention to that when you're smelling those oils in the store. If you're really drawn to something, there's a reason. And the more you research it, it's because it benefits you in a very profound way.
Yeah, everybody's nose is different. It's funny because our salve has six essential oils in it, and we presented it to, probably maybe thousands of people at this point, and being at the kiosks and everything, and people pick out one of the six in their nose every single time. It's never all of them. They're like, this smells like lavender. Somebody else is like, I smell lemon in this one. And I'm like, it just makes me laugh every single time just because people are so different. And even me, I've smelt it thousands of times. I smell it and I could smell something different on a different day, depending on how I'm feeling, depending on so many different things.
Well, you
Essential
know,
oils are crazy.
back, it really all comes back to those terpenes.
Hmm.
So to put it in terms that any cannabis user can understand, when you smell a bag of really heady cannabis, it makes your brain sizzle. Like
Hmm.
you have a sensation before you ever smoke it. It starts with that fragrance, the aroma of it. Some strains were like, oh, that's not the one. And then there's others where you're just like, oh, I could almost eat this. It's exactly what I need right now. Essential oils are exactly the same way. There's a connection in your brain that happens through aromatherapy. When you have the right aromatherapy going on, it is truly miraculous almost because it can balance your whole energy, your anxiety, your pain levels go down, your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down. It's really amazing what aromatherapy can do. So yeah, it's those terpenes.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, unfortunately, that consume cannabis and use cannabis daily, and even some medical patients, they don't know about the importance of terpenes and how you can
Yeah.
really direct your how you want your cannabis to affect you with the different terpenes that you use in conjunction with it.
Mm-hmm. Whenever a patient walks into a dispensary or a caregiver storefront, or depending on your state, whatever you call your stores, you want to see a wide variety, and you want to take a minute and smell them. Take a whole bunch of time and just smell a whole bunch of them, and come back to the ones that made your brain sizzle. That's your strain. You don't need to even know whether it's a sativa or an indica or a hybrid. Doesn't even matter. If it
No.
made your brain sizzle in the back, that's your strain. Smoke it.
Yeah, and close your eyes and just
Mm,
open the jar and smell it, and just almost like wine tasting. Like, I remember the first time that I ever heard wine tasting, I was listening to Gary V do a wine tasting, but I wasn't watching it. I was just listening to it driving. So it was on my speakers in my car, and I'm hearing this.
mm-hmm.
I'm just like,
Have,
this is the weirdest thing ever, but it's just like that with weed.
have you ever done a wine tasting?
I have just
I
kind
have.
of,
Yeah.
with Andrew, we did one in my house. We did a wine tasting video.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly the same concept. So you're appreciating the headiness in that bottle of wine, the earthiness. Like, what are you smelling? Is it fruit or is it dirt? Is
Yeah.
it a dry? Is it a red or a white? Wine tasting's a lot of fun, and I'm not a wine drinker, but it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about terpenes that day.
I feel
Hmm.
like so first of all, Andrew was running a bunch of experiments like letting just training our noses. He would get combinations of different spices and put them all together, like spices that just don't go together, and he'd be like, "What can you smell out of this?" And I'm like, "Ugh, what?" Like, this doesn't smell good at all. He's like, "Yeah, but what do you smell?" And he just like he would do this daily with himself, and he'd have me do it every time I go over, just training his nose to smell
Hmm.
the undertones a little bit, because that's how you really get your nose sensitive to different smells. And it's a gift and a curse, kind of, because when you get really sensitive to smells and terpenes, what happens is every smell becomes exacerbated to you. So I quit smoking cigarettes in 2014, and that when I for the past like few years, when I'm around cigarettes, I'm just like, don't really like it, but tolerable. Lately, oh my god, like since the past like year and a half, when I've been training my nose to be able to smell terpenes more and smell the undertones of everything, and having a more sensitive nose palate, I guess, like cigarette smell is so much more severe in my nose cavities. I'm like, oh.
You don't like the tobacco terpene, huh?
I don't know, because I like when tobacco is burned, like just regular tobacco. I love that
Yeah.
smell. I just don't think I like all the chemicals in it. And I've thought about like, growing my own tobacco, and so I can have blunts that I know are clean, and I can smoke rolled up cigarettes that I know are clean tobacco. Because tobacco isn't bad for you. It's all the other shit in it.
Hmm.
It's like what they're gonna try to do to cannabis if Marlboro ever starts joining the party here.
Great. I agree.
Unfortunately,
There are some companies already doing it, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
happening. Coca Cola, I heard, is testing out some child-proof cans to come out with a CBD Coca Cola. That's
Well,
fun.
yeah, no, that was coming. I mean, we have all these really amazing businesses in the industry, and we go to these conventions, and there's this feel of community, but at the
Hmm.
same time, there's an undertone of competitiveness. We all fully understand, here's our pie and here's our chance to get some. We all have that in the back of our mind when we go, we pay that much money for a table. We have that in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
And the real competition is your Coca-Colas.
Yep.
It's your Ben and Jerry's. Because when these guys come in and they look to take out your business, they're going to take you and your whole supply chain. The smartest thing our industry can do is start collectives right now, because when those corporations come in, they're going to take all of us. And that's fine, because at least we have our chunk of the pie.
Yep.
They're going to squash us either way. That is the reality, unfortunately.
I kind of want to disagree. Like, I really think that if we can all
I
band
want to
together,
agree too.
I really do think if we can band together and get enough of the real estate of the market and enough of people's attention, which I feel like a lot of companies like yours is doing an amazing job with garnering amazing attention because of your community efforts and what you
Yeah.
do as far as like getting legislation passed. And you were literally just on the phone with one of your state representatives. Like, you're literally always fighting for patient rights, whether it be for marijuana, even though we hate that word, or hemp. It doesn't matter. You're always fighting for more rights for the patient.
Yes. There is nothing wrong with access. So here's an interesting thing, and I don't think a lot of people even see the bigger picture. So on a federal level, this very well could be their opportunity to squash the cannabis industry, to kill it in legal states.
Mm-hmm.
They could potentially do that. I mean, denying funding to any of us. Unfortunately, at the same time, they're hurting some companies that they had intended to allow be legal, like a hemp company.
Mm-hmm.
So, my assessment, what I'm gathering for information, is and this is my own conclusion, so it's not necessarily sound fact. I'll put that out there. This is opinion. I kind of feel like any hemp company that's heavily involved in the cannabis industry is not getting access to those loans because the cannabis industry is still considered illegal on federal level. So lawyers who represent a cannabis business are not getting access to those loans. An accountant helping us pay the taxes are not getting access to those loans.
An advertising deal that we just did, we had to sign something, an agreement saying that we don't participate in any kind of marijuana sales, that we only participate in hemp sales, and it's lab tested to be less than 0.3% THC, all that good lingo that they like to put in there. And I was like, oh wow. So like if because they were like, so are you guys also owners of dispensaries? I was like, unfortunately not yet. And she was like, oh, well, that's good because like we couldn't advertise once that happens. I was like, oh wow, looks like we won't be advertising within the next few years, huh?
Yeah. And that's the case with our credit card processing. That's the case with my banking. To get banking, I had to sit down with the regional manager of my bank and their lawyer, show them all of my COAs, show them all of my business certificates, and sign paperwork saying I wasn't involved in the cannabis industry. That's just to get a bank account.
We had to do that for Square. You know, just in
Yeah.
order to be able to use Square, I have to submit all that stuff in just to be able to have somebody to process your payments.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. And here we are, half of us, or more than half of us, getting denied federal loans after jumping through all of these hoops. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's frustrating.
we missed the first round for sure. We had our bank had like 4,500 applications, and they kind of submitted the wrong form for us. You know, besides that, our bank has always done good by us, and they were very apologetic and very like, we're gonna make this better. We hear there's a second round coming. We promise you're good. Now we're submitted. We have the guarantee, they call it, which they say is the hardest part to get for the PPP loan, and we're waiting for the final approval now, which comes within 10 days. So hopefully we can get that, because most of it's going to our employees, just to be able to, you know, pay them for the last 3-4 weeks that they've missed, and then the next 6 weeks or so after that, if it goes that long, which it may. Unfortunately.
I think it quite possibly is probably going to go on all summer, unfortunately.
Yeah, it sucks because the kiosk model was honestly working for us, and we're not abandoning it. We're definitely not, but it's gonna be, I think, tough in the beginning, but maybe not. I think there's gonna be two types of people in the world, right? There's gonna be the person that stays home for a few months to stay cautious, and there's gonna be the person that can't wait to get the fuck out of the house and get to the mall.
I completely agree with you. Like, I'm ready for my business to be back up and running. I'm ready to put my employees back to work. I've been incredibly concerned about that. Um, I'm ready for all of that. But with that being said, I'm not ready to go to a convention. I'm not going to jump on an airplane. Probably not going to travel. Now, I'm okay with the kids staying home from school for a little longer. Probably won't go shopping at the mall for a while. So,
I
yeah,
know people still flying right now.
crazy. That's crazy. I think
It's
there's so misinformation out there and so much contradicting information that people literally don't know what to believe.
Yep.
Like, as human beings, we all want to do the right thing. Nobody wants to watch their neighbor die in front of them and certainly doesn't want to be the cause of it. None of us as human beings want to do that. But I think as human beings, we all want to feel like we're being told the truth. And I don't think any of us feel that way right now. I don't think any of us have got a lot of faith for what our government officials are telling us. I think there's just so much contradicting information that we're left with a big, what are we supposed to believe? Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? Now, bear in mind, I'm in northern Maine. There is one reported case in my county. One. There's a total of, I don't know, maybe less than just over 1,000 cases in the whole state of Maine. So I'm in a whole different environment than Boston.
Yep. Massachusetts is in a weird place right now because Vermont, New
Yeah,
Hampshire, and Maine are like, well, we're good. Like, what do you mean we're going to reopen?
right. But like I said, I certainly, as a human being, despite what I see going on for normal around me, because it's not around me,
Yep.
I still don't want to do anything that's going to potentially put my neighbors at risk. The reality is that this is a global pandemic, and none of us really have a full understanding as to how it acts, how many times it's going to mutate, how hard
Mm-hmm.
it's going to hit, what the waiting period is. There's still so much uncertain that I think that caution isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. Over
It's
caution is not a bad thing. I've taken crazy precautions. Like the amount that I've used hand sanitizer and washed my hands and everything is way, 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 way more than I usually do. And
yeah,
you know, wear a mask out in public, all that fun stuff. But like you said, there is so much misinformation out there. It's really hard to really know which source to believe, and it's like that causes a lot of panic and fear in people, unfortunately.
exactly.
And it leads people to a lot of irrational decisions, like just handing over complete control to our government.
Hmm. I agree. But at the same time, what people need to understand is that during a pandemic, our government has full authority to do exactly what they're doing. It is within their legal right to do stay at home orders for the sake of public health.
Yeah.
It's within their legal right. We've been asked to close businesses. That's what we should be doing. To not do that is now breaking the law.
Yeah, and everybody is, well, I can't say everybody, but the majority of people are complying, or at least coming up with some sort of business model where they're essentially closed and doing like sidewalk drop-offs and stuff like that. You know,
Handling it in a different manner that keeps the general public and themselves safe.
yes, and the least amount of contact as humanly possible, because that's
Hmm.
that's what it's all about, is limiting your contact with people so that way it limits the spread of everything. And
Exactly.
Andy works in a lab that tests for this type of stuff, and he is very much into science, and he's explained a lot of it to me, and it does kind of sound scary, but
Yeah.
I'm a statistics based person. I don't really look at anything besides just the statistics of everything, because there's always spins and stories and ways people make money, and vaccines that people want to put on people, and
Yeah.
all
We
these
go.
different agendas that they're putting on people. Um, it's kind of crazy, the amount of agendas that are just out there, and the amount that people can't just be good in politics. For instance, I want to talk about this.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, okay. So in Massachusetts, we are not allowed to grow hemp on 61A land, which is protected land, because farmers basically wanted to protect their land. So they put this environmental protection on it, so that way the government can never steal from them and put a bunch of buildings on it. So they put in the stipulations for growing hemp in Massachusetts that we can't grow on restricted land. So I looked back to this in June of 2019. So yes, almost 1 year ago, 10 months ago now, almost, actually 11 months ago now. Um, the Senate passed a bill saying, "Hey, we're cool with hemp being allowed." The House passed it through unanimously, but they passed two different bills. So now this bill months because the House and Senate can't decide who is getting credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
That, and it's all standing up. It's all just like literally waiting up on that fact. And those are the type of things that happen in politics that are just like super
It's disgusting.
literally, like there's no other word for it.
It's using their position to manipulate the population and power and control. It's disgusting. There are so many entities monopolizing right now on this pandemic. It's it's gross. It's really gross. From mandatory vaccines to, oh God, let's talk a slush fund for the government. That one makes me really ill. A big slush fund government that nobody has. Who has control over that? Who's writing the checks for that one?
Not the people, that's for sure.
You have to remember this is our money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have the government signing the check, but y'all remember it's our money, right?
And it's crazy because this first round of funding, all businesses got funded. It went to a lot of big corporations, unfortunately, and like Harvard. Like, what does Harvard need that money for? What do they need a few $millions for when they take in hundreds of millions of dollars in profit, not just in net, like in profit. After everything is said and done, they're taking hundreds of millions of dollars every year in profit. What the hell do they need $20 million for? You know, let's do some quick math here. Let's do 20 million, and let's just say a business needs that would help 660 small businesses. That would be 660 small businesses that would have gotten a $30,000 PPP loan just from the Harvard money alone.
Sitting on what, 4,500 applications?
4,500. That would have taken a big chunk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people like Shake Shack at the loan as well. Dead guys, what's up, guys?
No, I don't even know. $50 4 years ago, $150 fucking dollars. I got this. It's like,
And now
here,
you're one of the.
I got this.
For the people that don't know, Janet and Janet's company are one of the leading New England CBD companies for sure. One of the top three, at least, if not the top. You know, like in Michael Goodenough down in DG Agtech. There's like just so many good produced hemp and CBD products, and we're lucky enough to supply a couple of them, and hopefully be about 3.5-inch cubic pots. And once they got a root ball in there and the weather's cooperating, they're going straight outside. So, you know, all within the next week, hopefully, if the weather gods permit.
No, that would be perfect. Your growing season is about a month ahead of ours.
Yeah, little side garden, and they popped up on their own. And this was back in like the beginning of experiments with that too.
Honey, I think you already know the answer to that. Then went back into flower. Some of the most potent plants out of those 5 that were put through that than everything else that we grew. It was crazy. The buds were super dense. It was crazy.
So there's some things I was reading towards the end of last year that cannabinoids are actually cannabis's way of protecting itself of not only from UVB but from, you know, stress and things like that. So the more you stress a plant, the more cannabinoids that should come out of it, you know, just based on that theory. And I think it really is true. You know, I've seen it time and time again.
I think that there are probably strains that are more tolerant to it than others, like any other flower. I mean, plants are plants. There are certain flowers that are more tender than others. But yeah, I believe that when you're all said and done, you can create some wicked bud out of doing that.
Wide, 10 feet, 12 feet tall, and just producing these amazing like water bottle sized nugs.
Nice.
And
And
we had
this was all hemp, right?
all hemp. Yeah.
Plants, like, I don't know, just the way the leaves come out on them, they're really quite beautiful. And the buds were killer. You're right, the buds were huge.
Yeah, it's funny because throughout the growing season, people would be like, "You grow hemp? Oh!" And then we showed them pictures. They're like, "Wait, hemp has females?" I'm going to spin it for. I prefer. I
Most of
prefer.
them, most of them go more for ratings.
Yeah, I prefer the just put out what's true out there.
Sure. So this is what I have in my living room.
Oh, how many? What strains do you have? What cultivars?
I have green beans. I have corn. I have carrots and basil.
That's why you laughed. It's not even cannabis. I was like, oh wow.
Nope, not even cannabis. Um, so I don't know how much of the news you're following, but are you guys all aware there's an actual food shortage coming?
Yeah, it looks like there was a shortage on meat they were talking about.
Yeah, well, it goes deeper than that because we got all these farmers who grow vegetables for us who are like, why am I going to put vegetables in the ground? I don't have a market. The restaurants are all closed.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a market. So, should they even plant this year? If they don't plant, we're screwed. So, grow your own vegetables, guys. It's kind
Or
of important.
yeah, or become really good friends with your local farmer and hope to
Hmm.
God that they grow a couple acres just for their local community. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
exactly.
tough.
It is. We've been raising chickens. I actually have 6 eggs in the incubator right now. So we do farm fresh eggs. We have a giant garden going, like actual vegetable garden. We are putting a vegetable stand out in front of my shop this year.
Good.
I just think it's really important to make sure that food is available.
Yeah, we have to help our neighbors, help our community. That's what it's all about. That's if we don't help each other through this when it comes to the end, there's gonna be nobody left. And then what? Like there's nothing there.
And then what? Exactly.
Yep.
It, it just craziest time we've ever been in.
Like
So go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say that's why so many people ask us like as a CBD company, there's so much competition out there. How do you guys compete in such a filled space? And I'm like, because we're not really competition. Like we can all help each other in one way or another. Like, hey, we grow our own, we produce our own oil. Can you buy our oil? Don't you have somebody that you get it from? Great. Can we help you on our website? Can we help you with any media? Can we help you with any advertising? Like there's always something we could do to help somebody. And what happens is you get these companies that are here and
Mm.
you're here. And then a company helps you get to here. And then you help a company that's here and you're here and you help them get above you and then you move a little bit too, and it just
Yeah,
doesn't matter because no matter if you help somebody get above you or just a couple notches more, your business is going to go higher as well.
it absolutely does. That's the premise that we've kind of built on is you really have to help your fellow neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we just launched our mystery boxes. It's basically a rotating amount of product in a box. You can sign up for a one-time purchase, or you can sign up for 3 months or for 6 months without an automatic renewal. And the whole point of these boxes is to showcase not only my company but other companies throughout New England. So we had 2 orders come in today, And I immediately reinvested that money into another company to bring their product in for these boxes, because that's what we need to do for each other right now. We
Mhm.
we need to support each other. No one else is going to do it.
No, and like you said, a lot of these banks aren't working with hemp businesses the way that they should. Like, what happens
No.
is they get put into this stigma with marijuana businesses, and banks are like, nope, 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 we don't want to work with you. It's
Yeah.
very very hard. Fortunately, a lot of people don't know this, I feel like, but Bank of America will actually work with a lot of hemp businesses, and Bank of America is a national bank, worldwide bank. It's a huge bank, so
Yep.
if you have no other options, Bank of America could be an option for your business, and we've even thought about getting that as like a backup account. But if you're local in Massachusetts, I'm really not sure how far they go past Massachusetts, but Rockland Trust, they are our bank, and they have been absolutely amazing with us. I had made some mistakes with my bank account when I was like 19 years old, and they normally any other bank would have told me to go away. You're not getting
Right.
approved. But they were like, "What happened?" And I told them, and they were like, "Oh," and they called their main person, like, "Hey, I have a good grip on this person. I feel like we should just pardon this. Can we pardon this?" And I was just like blown away just already, and
Yeah.
they got us hooked up, and we stayed with them since, and we've kept a steady flow of income going in there with the kiosks and everything. So when it came to the PPP loans, when the wrong form got submitted, they immediately were like, "Oh shit! Like, we need to help them," and we were like one of the first people in line that got submitted.
No, I'm super excited for you. That will absolutely go a long way in ensuring that your solid foundational people are there for you when you come out of this. Because
Yeah.
and that's the other thing a lot of us need to be thinking about. Although we're really stuck in this really desperate feeling financial situation, at the same time, there is another end of this, and we all need to be thinking about what that future looks like and how we're going to look when we get to the other side of that.
Yep.
How are we going to prepare? I think that those are really important things to be thinking about as well.
Ben, I believe, said it when we joined them on their podcast on Wednesday. This is literally like day 6 in a row of me going live. It's been insanity. But he said the people that treat their employees the best throughout this whole process are going to be the businesses that get remembered at the end of it. And I
I
think
totally,
it's so
totally agree.
true. Like, it's like you have to treat the people that got you to where you are a certain way. And that way is like gods and goddesses. You
Yeah.
have to treat your employees like you work for them, not the other way around.
I'm going to extend and add to that and say that I think it's just as important to really emphasize your customer service, because those customers, those reoccurring customers that are ordering product from you every month loyally, really those people you need to pay attention to, because
Hmm.
on a pandemic level, this isn't just, oh shit, we're in a business crunch and my business is struggling and everybody else is fine. Everybody is out of work.
Yep.
Everybody is struggling. Everybody's shuttering at home. Everybody's got kids at home that they have full time that they have never had to deal with. Everybody is financially hurting. So if
Hmm.
you as a business aren't able to recognize the needs of your consumers as well as the needs of your employees above and beyond your own personal needs, you're not going to make it.
Exactly.
You're absolutely not going to make it.
We have one customer. They met us. It was either Freedom Rally in September or Harvest Cup in November. But they met us at one of those two events, and they bought 1,000 milligram oil, which is $75 off us. They have probably put 13 more orders in since then, and I didn't even like that. Didn't even hit in my brain just because things have been so crazy with online orders. And I clicked on her name today and I saw the amount that she spent with us. And I was like, holy shit, like I know what she gets every time. So in my mind, I can equate that to how many she's bought. And
Right.
I messaged her on Instagram and said, hey, how's it going? And you should know
Yeah.
the cost of your product to figure out, okay, can our
Yeah.
business afford this loss in order to really hook up a loyal customer, somebody that's been with us since the beginning, before the kiosk, before employees, before everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they got you started. So no, I totally agree. That's just what you do. We've had similar situations with customers, with patients. It's really about taking care of each other and just at the end of the day doing the right thing. Hi, honey.
She's tired.
Hello,
Someone's sleepy. Oh, you smell good.
darling. Love it.
Say good night, Tata. I love. Come on.
It's so funny. I have like this little nook, like there's literally a closet behind here, and I just have a little backdrop set up here that I do all the live streams on, and it looks way more official than it really is.
It just has to look official.
Yeah, it just has
It's
to.
for the camera.
It has to appear a certain way, and that's it. We're hopped in yet, so
Call.
yeah. Maybe it was just one of those phone calls that you had to stay there for it. We get those, especially right now. I feel like everybody's trying to connect with a human being, and talk.
Mm-hmm.
There's
No,
some people that don't have anybody in their household that they're hanging out with, or maybe they just have one other person that they've been with for 2 months straight now.
yeah, and I think you guys being in the city have it way, way harder than we do. Like we're in the country. We have an acre for our kids to go out and play outside and for us to get out, garden, to do whatever we need to do. We've got that freedom up here to do that. And I just feel like being down in the city, living in an apartment building would be so much worse than what we have here. So I can totally sympathize with, yeah, that isolation. The isolation by itself is creating a huge issue because there's been this massive jump. Well, I won't say massive, there's been a noticeable jump in the suicide rate. So if you're isolated, please reach out, pick up the phone, something, reach out because you're not really as alone as you might be feeling.
Yeah.
Isolation stuff. That's the hardest part of this is staying away from, loved ones. We're coming up to Mother's Day and most of us aren't going to see our moms. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah,
You're
or
not
we're
going to
gonna get to like drive up to our mom's house and say hey from the end of the driveway, like, "Hey, mom."
do drive-by parades, beep beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Luckily, I
it.
live with my mother-in-law, and so at least I get like one of them to say Happy Mother's Day to, and my fiance.
Exactly. I feel incredibly grateful. I have all three of my children. I have 9-year-old twins, and then my daughter, my oldest, is 25. Her boyfriend, her fiance, is my business partner. And then my two grandchildren live here as well. So we have a duplex and we all just cohabitate and it works really well. So I'm incredibly blessed to have my whole family very close through this. I couldn't even imagine not being able to see my grandbabies. How horrible. I can sympathize.
Yeah, none of my family's really been able to see like my daughter for the past couple months, and they're like texting me like, "I need to see her." I know
Yeah.
it's tough.
Babies, your grandchildren add so much joy to your life. It's a necessary part of things. It should be deemed essential.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So, do you have any great deals for Mother's Day? What are you guys doing over there at Urban Acres?
So we still have quarantine deals going on. So we have like the bundles where if you got two of any product, you get 20% off. But then So that's like just our typical bundle pricing. And then on top of that, we're doing 20% off right now and free shipping for like for the quarantine and everything, because like I said, our
Yeah.
kiosks are shut down and our
Right.
overhead is a little bit lower, so we can pass those discounts on to our customers a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're honestly trying to set up a subscription service on our website to where if you sign up for like a monthly subscription, and it's not like a yearly contract where like if you sign up you're in it forever, you have to pay monthly, but it's like
Right.
it just comes out monthly or bi-monthly, whatever, we figure it out based on the product that you're using. And it just comes out automatically, and you could cancel at any time and you keep the 20% discount. So we're like trying to look into those kind of services and whatnot to really, again, help our customers. We still make a profit and we still help our customers, and that's what we're able to grow our business. We're able to help our customers. One hand washes the other.
I totally agree. Whatever you can do to help make things easier for your customer, save money for your customer. The one thing that I hear over and over and over again is, I'd love to use it all the time, but it's so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you have to offer for a conversation on the cost of CBD products?
So we have been working diligently on a variety of products that you can get for $25 and under, because we figure that's probably like the budget line. So we
Mm-hmm.
have the 250 milligram oil for $25. We have
Yeah.
the 250 milligram pet CBD for $25. We have the 150 milligram pain roll on for $15, which is, if you look at it, milligrams per milliliter, it's on the same comparison as our extra strength salve is per milligrams per milliliter. So it's
I know
made.
150 milligrams for $15 is a great price.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
we're trying to create a budget line. We have 100 milligram bath bomb for $100. We have a 50 milligram for $10, or 3 for $25. So, and we have a chapstick for $8. So we've created all these products for under 25 because we've actually been trying to figure out a way to get into gas stations and change this model of shitty gas station CBD. Because it is terrible. It's literally the worst. And
No, I
I mean,
agree.
not always. I would say like 99.9%. Once in a while, you'll stumble across a gas station that has a good local product, and we're trying to get to these big chains to get some in there, type of thing.
You want to go to the distributor. I think what is um
Good idea.
what's the one for New England? Oh, God, I forget. It used to be Pine State, and they just were bought out by somebody in Vermont,
I'm trying to
and I
think.
forget the name of it.
If you know, comment it.
Right, exactly. I can't see any comments, just so y'all know. If anybody's trying to talk to me, I can't see any comments on my end.
People are pretty quiet in the comments over here. People must just be stony baloney chilling on a Friday night.
They're all quarantined. I'm usually in bed by now, so thanks for breaking the norm.
Yeah, no problem. It's always enjoyable to get to chat with you for a little bit, and it sucks because at NECAN we were supposed to have tables next to each other. You were gonna have your nonprofit right next to my table, and
Nope, so much fun.
I know it's all the events right now are getting pushed back to like October, November, December, and it's like, oh my God, I gotta wait that long to like sesh with all my people? Like, no way.
Well, my issue is we took a big break from events last year simply because we were trying to work really hard on making sure our labeling and our marketing and all of those pieces were really on point. We needed the extra income basically to do it. So we had prepaid in January for a lot of events. We had put out, Jesus, close to $7,000 for tables and booths for the whole year. So now I'm watching all of these events that I'm prepaid, and they're all getting booked for same weekends. And I'm just like, it's a giant scheduling clusterfuck for me. that's what this has done. I'm like, yay! I'm excited.
See, I
I don't
got
know
to
how I'm
that
gonna
point
pull
too
this
where
off.
I had Ostera, like I had an Ostera festival, which is like the beginning of spring, and
Mhm.
it was on the Friday that Nican started, and I was like, shit, there's no way I can do this and
Yeah.
keep my kiosks open. So I was determined. I was like, I'm gonna hire 4 more people, and that'll allow me to be able to run my kiosks while Nican is running that weekend. And then we get an event the next weekend and the weekend before Nican. And I'm like, okay, pressure's on. Here we go. And I did it. We got people hired, and we had enough people hired to, and we had the schedule all done and everything for March to have all the events covered, plus have all the kiosks open at the same time. And then everything got canceled. Not only did the events get canceled, but the kiosks got canceled. And I'm like,
The
no.
whole shut down. You're like, wait, what? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Yeah.
doing what? We're shutting down. No, I kind of
How do you
uh
do? Wait.
we kind
Yeah.
of had a hunch in mid-February or so. We were in talks with some investors, and we were very, 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 very close to getting a large investment that would have taken our business to unfathomable levels.
Yeah.
And the money people saw the market crash, and they were like, well, this could wait till next year or maybe later this year, like I'm gonna sit back and see what happens.
Yeah, we have had investors that we've been in talks with in same situation. Same month we were in Florida in February for the Florida Medical Convention,
Hmm.
which was a fantastic show. There's so much market down there that is just untapped. They were excited to see us. And then, the whole world kind of flipped on its ass. So now everything's on hold. Everything's just on hold. And that part's been really frustrating. I'll be excited when we're able to start doing some of the things that were in talks before this happened.
What's crazy is people were like, listen, you're gonna have your kiosk customers come online and buy products online, and that's how you guys are gonna survive. And I was looking today, well, yesterday and today, because I was looking at the end of April statistics and everything. I'm literally obsessed with metrics. If you're building a business, you need somebody in your business that's obsessed with metrics, because that's how you really build, is to look at the numbers.
Yep.
So I was looking at the numbers, and we had um, only 20 return customers out of 70 customers for the month. And I was like, so we gained a bunch of new customers, but we still haven't gained our kiosk customers, which is a little bit of a worry to me, because there's hundreds of
Right.
customers out there that somehow we still haven't reached yet. So I have to figure out, as the marketing person for our business, like, how do I reach all these kiosk people now? Like, I've sent out one email. I don't like to be spammy. I need to figure out one more email I could send now that it's been like a month and a half, where I can really gain some attention from our mall customers now, so we can like really survive through this type of thing. Because hunting for new customers is definitely the hardest thing.
Oh, building up your clientele is absolutely the hardest.
Oh yeah.
It's difficult. Now, have you put any kind of a focus on your wholesale market at all? Or are you focusing more on retail and that end of things?
For wholesale, it's been tough for us, because we had a very good focus on wholesale, and then we had this happen, and most of our wholesale is closed. So
Yeah.
we reached out to our wholesalers, and we offered a net 60. Like, hey, we'll do a net 60, and it's a soft net 60, because if this extends past 60 days, we're not going to be like, hey, give us your fucking money. We're going to be like, hey, let's try net 90 now. Let's see net 120, like whatever it takes.
Right.
We're
Whatever
not
it
in
takes.
this to be greedy, but if we can both make a little bit of money, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just kind of scared right now, and or all the way closed, like the Patriots chiropractor, all the way closed. The
Yeah.
massage therapist that we have, all the way closed. There's a few people. There's a majority of the businesses. We only have like 2 out of our 12 wholesalers that are still open, and it's definitely tough on the wholesale side, unfortunately. And we have to make up for that with the online sales. And we're giving not only, you know, an extra 20% off on our website, but we're giving between 15 and 40% of our sales to our employees, just to like give them a little bit of money. Like I was telling you before the show, we have an ambassador program, and you pay $125. It gets you all of our products, which is like over $300. It unlocks product at wholesale cost, and if you sell it to your friends, you make a bonus starting at 15% of the sale. We gave that for free to all of our employees. And not only that, we made it so every single sale on the website, even if it was us bringing it in, which it was a lot of me, you know, I pushed hard last month to get sales in. We made people choose either an employee or all of our employees that we can give the sale to. And we had one employee, almost, she hit 18%. So she got 18% of her sales because she hit a certain bonus. And then we had 2 employees hit that 18% mark. And, you know, the rest got 15% of the sales because it was basically divvied up between them. And it was a good feeling, but it's still not enough. So we're hoping, just if you're watching this, all the good vibes and good
Good
thoughts.
vibe. Yes.
We need this PPP loan so we can, hey, Heather Brown, we can hook up our employees. They are the most important part of our business. You know, Andrew and I are smart people, and we do the damn thing, but without our employees, we are literally nothing. And it's all about them. So the pressure's on us to figure that out.
So just for anybody who's listening, and when I share this to my page and I know people are watching, I think that this is important because there are a lot of people who are out of work right now who are wondering, you know, how am I going to take care of the bills? Your ambassador program, correct me if I'm wrong. So if I, for example, wanted to come in and say, hey, Adam, I want to be part of your ambassador program, and I purchased this for $125, and then I utilize, you know, my natural born marketing skills on social media to then market those products and talk about them. Whatever somebody orders through your website, I get a percentage of.
Correct. Starting at the first sale. Like as soon as you make a sale, you get a percentage of that.
Well, shit, I'd say that's a reason to contact Adam from Urban Acres, because the real deal is there are a lot of people who are great and they're savvy on social media and they have a great following. And this is just another honest way to make a living and
we're
add to what you may have already lost.
already
Fantastic.
we're a local company too. We grow everything ourselves. Like literally, like, you'll be able to track it if you follow our social media on Urban Acres on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. You'll be seeing more and more pictures popping up of our gardens and our fields. You can literally watch these plants be grown before they get put into your product. It's the coolest thing in the world to me. And everything is independent lab tested. We're very thorough with how we formulate our products. You know, so it's not a big conglomerate business that owns a subconglomerate business that owns a subconglomerate business that's in the United States and has an MLM company selling CBD products through other people. It's a local company with literally just 2 owners. It's a 50-50 split company between myself and Andrew. And it's hard to find that, you know, especially people that have a good ambassador program.
I think it's in general, it's hard to work with or find companies that are ethical, who treat people fairly, and you know who actually will work as hard for their employees as they expect their employees to work for them. And I just thank you for being a hell of a company, because it really does matter right now.
I had one of my employees the other day. We were talking on the phone, and these type of things like really make me like deep dive into my brain as to like what we're doing right. We were talking on the phone, and he said something like, "Hey, I've tried the live videos. They're not really working for me. I'm not really able to sell that way. I'm not really like the most popular person in the world. People think I'm weird, so." I don't have a ton of friends. And I'm like, dude, I could totally relate to that. Like, a lot of people think I'm weird and I don't have a lot of friends. Like, right now, the cannabis industry, it doesn't seem that way because like I've made so many friends over the past couple of years, but before that, like I'm just a weird kid and I never really had a ton of friends, so super related to that. And he was like, how can I help you? Like, I feel bad because I'm not helping you guys and I'm not helping make sales. And I was like, dude, we're not even like paying you guys fully right now. What do you mean you feel bad? Like, you shouldn't feel bad. Like, we're not even able to fully pay you. And he's like, nah, but like you guys are doing everything you can to help us. And I'm like, wow, that's really a crazy feeling. Like, employees, and he's somebody we just hired like a month ago, and he's like super just on board and loyal to us. It's like, how the hell do we deserve that to happen? And all of our employees, like, they've all gone live. We've had dozens of live videos over the past month, and myself and Andrew also going live. It's been insanity, like the support that we've gotten of our staff and then of our customers. And man, if this month has told me anything, it's that like if you help people, eventually when you need help, it'll come back.
It
You
does come
know.
back. It absolutely does. And I've seen that on my end of things. You can you can tell when your community values you because when they think that you're in trouble, they all step up. And I've just
Mhm.
seen a huge outpouring of support from my community, both locally and abroad. It's really reassuring. Like, if you're one to look at signs in the universe, it's a big sign that you're doing the right things.
Yeah. Seriously, like I put up something saying like, oh, I'm about to be out of cannabis. Like, this quarantine is gonna get super interesting when that happens. Like, anxiety's already been on fleek, and like a couple people just reached out to me and just literally came by and dropped off cannabis to me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
for what? No, like, well, because of everything you do. I'm like, do what? Like, I just have a business. Like, I'm just like, no, like, you're helping people with live videos. Like, you're trying to distract people. Like, you're trying to keep people entertained. You're trying to keep people educated. Like, you're still trying to spread your message, even though you're all closed down. Like, here,
Yeah.
like, somebody needs to help you get through this. And I'm like, wow, like, dude, thank you.
Yeah, it's an interesting position to be in when you're used to being a helper and then you're in a position to be on the receiving end of that. It's very humbling, and it's
Mhm.
a reminder as to why you are that helper, because when you are helping somebody, you're giving them that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think we forget that as helpers, we're so eager to just help people. We don't really understand the impact that it has on people until we have it shown to us. So sometimes it's good to be put in a position where we need to have help.
Yeah, it's tough too when like I get the same, if not a better feeling helping somebody than any
Yeah.
good thing that happens to me.
Hmm.
Like, it just feels so much better to give back to somebody else. And like every time something good happens to me, I'm like, shit, now I gotta give back to a million other people because something good happened to me.
It's like and I know that you can relate to this because I distinctly remember a post that you put up. It's like money's wicked cool. When we have a great sales day, we celebrate that. We know that that's security for us. We can pay
Hmm.
our bills. We can take care of our employees. We can keep our business going. But when we get a message from a cancer patient who says, my tests all came back and everything's better, there is no better feeling than that.
Nope.
Like, I don't care how much money just got dropped into a bank account. When you have a patient tell you that, that tops all of it. That's what
Literally.
we're really here for.
it's one of those things that, like, just thinking about the amount of testimonies we get that we can't even use because the FDA will shut down our website, from from people that just are like, oh my God, you changed my life. Like, I had this really bad anxiety and you've helped me push through this, and I've done X because of that. It's such an amazing feeling. Like, you can't imagine helping people the way that our products have been able to help people. I've never in a million years would have ever thought that I'd help people the way that our product has. And I'm grateful to even have the opportunity to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. To be a part of that and to watch somebody's quality of living improve on a profound level, and some of the stories that I've heard from people and the testimonials are truly amazing. They are the reason we're still in business.
Mm.
Um, let's talk about the FDA for a second, and not necessarily let's get down on the FDA, but I think that it's important to explain to our consumers some of the boundaries that we deal with in marketing, in what we're allowed to have on our website, why we have to be so vague,
Mm.
because they may not understand the dynamics of that. Like, I can't post a picture of my bath bombs and tell you that frankincense can reduce inflammation and that you're going to get the best night's sleep you've ever had. I can't tell you that, and I can't give you a testimonial that proves that. I I I can't give any of my customers that because of FDA regulations.
It's been a tough workaround, like we
Mhm.
are literally working with somebody that works in the field of compliance for cannabis businesses, and we can
Yep.
definitely hook you up with her, of just how can we use testimonials, how can we use them, and we're getting close to some kind of close solution that we can use for it. And once we figure that out, we're going to spread it like wildfire, obviously, throughout the CBD and cannabis community, because we all need to figure out the little loopholes that work and then spread them to each other, so that way we can all kind of, like we were talking about before, survive when the big conglomerates come in. If we're 10 steps ahead and own all the real estate, who are they? Yeah, they have money, but Andrew,
Yeah.
my partner, told me the story about the Wright brothers. Like, the Wright brothers weren't anybody special. They weren't super rich. They were, I'm pretty sure, a couple of farmers, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
And during that time, there were a lot of companies putting a lot of money into a lot of well-known scientists to build the flying bicycle, and then eventually the flying car. And nobody could figure out how to do it the right way. And these two farmer boys figured out how to do it and invented the first flying bicycle and eventually the first airplane. And they became millionaires and forever famous, like infamous
Yeah.
type of thing. And that's how the CBD space feels to me right now. Is like, it's a wide open market. People have to
Yeah.
be creative, and we have to be supportive of each other, like you and I have been, and a lot of companies have been, um, to be able to survive when these big conglomerates that have already invested billions of dollars into this come into this sphere, because it's going to happen. And guess what? It'll probably happen on an economic downturn when they expect that a lot of the businesses have gone out of business. And guess what? If we all work together, we can survive this pandemic. And when they try to do that, we have some more power.
That is exactly it. Um, Back to the FDA, and this is why I brought it up. If we have a consumer base that understands that our marketing capabilities are extremely limited, and they know that they can use their social media platform to hold up their favorite CBD product right now and say, this is the company I use and this is why I use it. They can't
Hmm.
tell you that, but I can. I think that that's super important. And every one of my friends who own a business right now would really appreciate that. Please, if you're using a CBD product, advertise it, tell people why you use it and what it works for, because we can't tell you any of that, and that is part of what is stifling some of our business marketing capabilities right now. We all have solid business platforms, but when I can't tell you what my products can be used for and how good they are, it really limits. It's like saying, here's a can of soda. I can't tell you what to do with it, though.
Yeah, don't drink it.
That's very difficult. You know, here's a can of soda, but I'm not going to show you how to open it. I'm not
Yeah,
allowed. So
it's
please, any of our customers that are out there, if you believe in our products, if you have a favorite company that you value, advertise them, because we can't do it for ourselves right now. Support us, please. I'm
yeah.
begging all of you. It's
Some of you are
important.
watching on Facebook and YouTube. We're not allowed to put ads on your pre-roll YouTube videos or on your Facebook timeline. I've
Nope.
actually had two accounts shut. This one that I'm on, the Adam Souza Facebook, this one's shut down on my ad account, and then I have another Adam Souza account that I used to use when I was younger. That's shut down as well. So just in that one of those got shut down, not for Urban Acres. It got shut down for AA for Entrepreneurs podcast, and we only were interviewing a hemp company. Like it wasn't even like we were like
Yeah.
growing hemp and showing our hemp fields and preaching CBD. We just simply said that we were interviewing a hemp company and had CBD in the background, and we got our account flagged and shut down. Like
Mm.
it's insanity, the stuff that goes on. So to be able to, like your page has a ridiculous amount of likes on Facebook. So does Healing Rose. We just hit 4,000 likes, and all of us have done this without a single penny in Facebook advertising because we're simply not even allowed to do it. And that's a lot to do with the FDA standards, which they don't allow us to put any CBD into any food products. We're technically not allowed to have any pet CBD products.
Yeah.
We're technically not allowed to have any smokable flower in Massachusetts for sale, except from farmer to farmer or farmer to processor or processor to processor, nothing else. So it's a really complicated landscape out here, and the FDA has made it way overcomplicated to what it needs to be. It does not need to be this complicated.
Not at all. So while we have to deal with those complications again, our consumers can really help us out a great deal and ensure that we're able to still be here in the long run.
Yeah.
Where our hands are very tied in a lot of ways. I've been shut out of Facebook a total of 90 days in 3 years. Um, that's my business page. They've shut it down for a total of 90 days in 3 years. That's all the marketing I do is on social media. So that's a big chunk of time. We don't like to risk that.
Yeah, you can't
So,
recover that time lost at all. Like it's just
yeah,
like, oh, now I got to pick this up from like zero now almost. Because once you start back up after you're flagged, your reach is very, very, very limited.
it absolutely is.
It's a shame.
We work 10 times harder than a lot of other people do, just being in the industry we're in.
Well, this is probably a good plug for a good independent cannabis app. If you guys have not heard, have you ever heard of the High Curious app?
I haven't.
So High Curious is owned by a few women entrepreneurs in the cannabis space. I know like Eve Marie is involved with it somehow, and then a few other people that I know are involved with it. So basically, it's a live streaming platform for cannabis-based businesses. It's also like a social media app for cannabis everything. So you could post your pictures, you could post your plants, you could post things without worrying about being flagged because it's made for cannabis. And I don't know why, but I wasn't paid to do this or anything, but that just really made me think of how we could support local people and download High Curious. It's HI period Curious, and download that app and join the platform. And let's continue to support each other off if a platform doesn't work for you, you don't hate the platform. You figure out the platform and then figure out other platforms that work for you to fill in the voids. So
Exactly.
High Curious could maybe fill in some voids on the cannabis side for you, because right now it's a brand new platform and there's a lot of good cannabis people on there that are in the know in the industry and not the big conglomerates.
Oh, that sounds perfect. I'm glad you shared that. And Eve Marie is just a beautiful person.
I
She's
love Eve.
all heart.
The first time I met her, I was like, I think you're the first Eve I've ever met. That's interesting.
You know what? It's her smile. She just has such a perfect, genuine, beautiful smile that comes right from her soul.
Yep.
And it's instant. When you meet her, you just know she's good people. You just know.
Yeah, I went to an event she did down in Rhode Island. She was putting it on with Ellen Brown and another woman. I can't. I'm slipping her name right now, but it was a great event, and it was on, Rhode Island hemp and marijuana, which was exciting to me because I'm in Taunton and we're, you know, 45 minutes from Rhode Island, from Providence. So we're right on the border of Massachusetts. So of course I had to go check that out. And it's very interesting, the laws that they have surrounding hemp and marijuana in Rhode Island. It's a little disturbing, honestly, doing a little bit of math on the amount of money that the state has collected for marijuana licenses and not really giving anybody a marijuana license in Rhode Island. But that's neither here nor there. I made some good
Well, it's
connections
just
there.
it just shows how much work we really do have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, despite the fact that, you don't live in that state at the same time, they're 45 minutes away from you. So their laws will or have already in some way affected you.
Yep.
That's the reality of it. So I'm a huge advocate of really getting active on a federal level. I think that it is time to push back on a federal level. Um, State level is important, but I think that federal is really where the change will have to come at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to step in and really do some work. First of all, starting with cannabis and then right down the line with hemp and everything too. Like
Yeah.
it should not be. This is crazy for the people that don't know. It is more illegal for you to grow a hemp plant with less than 0.3% THC in it. More illegal to grow that hemp plant than it is to grow a marijuana plant in your backyard.
You guys ready to go back in?
Yep. Just saying.
Yeah.
You have to
And
be licensed to grow hemp. How does that make sense?
yeah. So if by chance you're growing and I believe it's cold weather that can affect your THC levels. Am I correct in that?
There's a lot of different theories on it, but I think that's one of the good ones.
Okay, so you're growing a field, you live in Maine, um, you have an early frost. It's not unheard of. We live in Maine. All of a sudden, your entire field tests hot. You are now a huge federal criminal.
Yep.
The laws and the regulations are shameful. They line people up for lots and lots of legal issues in the future. And
Yeah.
that should not be the case.
In
So I
Massachusetts,
completely
and
agree.
this sounds shameful to say luckily to this, but luckily when your crop pops hot, you're able to burn it. And people were like, "Oh, you're able to burn it. You don't really have to burn it. Then just tell them you burned it." Nope, they do a monitored burn with you.
Yeah,
Now,
they're
we are in a residential neighborhood. We literally have a backyard. The whole backyard is, maybe a half an acre, and we grow on a tenth of an acre. So, doing a fire of a couple crops that popped hot is going to be a pretty sizable fire, and we're really not trying to set anything on fire. So they allowed us to compost it, but still, we had to destroy it in front of them, the little bit that popped hot. And a little bit that popped hot at 0.305%. So 0.305. So it popped out basically at 0.1% too hot, and we had to get rid of it.
That's awful.
It's fun. It's super fun.
No, that's enough to make you cry.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly.
it was honestly
Yeah.
like, so we accounted for 25% loss when we started growing. We were like, okay, just in case bad weather, yada yada yada. At the end of the
Makes-
season, we probably only had like a 5% loss with like plants that we had to cut down, branches that we had to cut down, branches that were lost because of the dogs running through the garden, stuff like that. And then with a couple crops that we had to burn, we ended up being at like 22%. So we were still under what we predicted.
Nope.
So it wasn't the biggest heartbreak, but it was. I wasn't there. Let's just put it that way. It was Andrew that did it. I couldn't even be there.
I just don't understand why with a plant of such diversity, you can go from textile to plastics to
Mm-hmm.
clothing to medicine. We have all the hell, you can make a brick and a building out of this stuff.
It's
I mean, with
fireproof.
all the diversity of this plant, why on earth are we destroying any of it?
Yeah,
We shouldn't be.
seriously.
We shouldn't be. As a farmer, if you're growing your crop, say for CBD, and it tests too hot for CBD, you should have the option to transfer your crop into textile or into building material. If
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna take a loss, you're not getting top dollar medicine for it, but at the same time, you're not watching it get buried or burned. That
Yeah,
shouldn't be the case. There
and
should We need to advocate for more provision there, more fairness.
and realistically, all that matters is the end product. So if you're able to dilute your end product enough to still hit the 0.3%
Yeah.
range, you're still a legal hemp product. And as somebody that basically only sells a finalized product, I mean, we oh, there goes my setup falling down. As somebody that only sells uh, mostly finished products and a few people that we supply with their distillate. We don't supply to anybody that isn't gonna dilute it down further. Like we're not selling this recreational, we're selling it to other people with licenses because they're gonna dilute it down into a product and make it hit their 0.3% limit or under based on their products. And it's not hard to do. It's simple
Well,
math.
even if you're under that 0.3%, once you turn it into a concentrate, chances are your THC level is still going to be too hot. So really, if they're going to go by that 0.3%, what part of the process should they be testing?
Yeah, and I think they
Should
are
it be
the thing that's
or
weird
the
about the mass.
processor?
Yeah, the thing that's weird about the Massachusetts language is that they basically only write the language to be about the flower. They don't write it to be about the
Yeah,
oil.
Maine,
So
no, Maine as well.
because they can't.
It's
And the only way to really calculate it is if you were to do, let's say there was 1.5% THC in the concentrate and 87% or 82% CBD in the rest of it. Now you divide the 1.6% divided by the total available cannabinoids, and if that's under 0.3%, then you're good. And that's basically what I've heard from everybody that's, like Connecticut, they have a stricter licensing process. And that's what they were basically told for their concentrate is that the total equation of the THC to total cannabinoids has to fall be underneath the 0.3% range.
Yep.
So it's a little bit different calculation. And, most legislators probably know nothing about that.
Most of the inspectors know nothing about that.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry, I can only speak for. There is much confusion. There's we had um, we had a cannabis inspector come in not that long ago, and he asked us more questions than we were able to ask him. There was a lot of I don't know. I'm not sure, especially with the hemp side of business. Like he was there to talk cannabis, but then I've got my whole CBD company right there. So he's asking all these questions. He's just got very little understanding. And the difference is, he's like, I thought it was all the same. How can you sell this right in a store? And how is this possible? You don't have the right license for this. I'm like, yeah, but I don't do that.
Yep. Uh-oh. I lost Janet. I wonder if her phone died or something. Well, I am gonna hang around for about a minute or so, let Janet get reconnected so we can actually wrap up here. It's actually been a great session. I didn't realize it's already been an hour and a half. I kind of only looked at the time. The way I'm looking at it on my screen, I have the time kind of tucked away, and I was looking at it because my fiance just put my baby to bed, and I was like, I wonder what time it is. And I saw that it's been an hour and a half, and was like, oh shit, it's been an hour and a half. There's still 3 people watching, an hour and a half in. So if you're watching, say hey. We're about to hop off of here shortly. I'm gonna give it about 45 more seconds or so to let Janet come in just so she can wrap up. And if she doesn't come in and wrap up, I will do it for her. I think I have all the banners correct to get her all wrapped up and out of here. It's been an amazing session. Janet is one of my all-time favorite people in the cannabis industry, honestly, and she is a huge inspiration. She does this for the right reasons. She helps as many people as humanly possible. She has regular businesses, she has nonprofits. She is just a super mom, a super grandma, super woman in general, and I really have so much love for her. So check out her website, hippiechickllc.com, and go to Facebook and search Hippie Chick Natural Solutions, or go to facebook.com/hippie, HIPPY, chick natural solutions. And she makes amazing products too. She's another CBD company. She buys oil that's sourced from another local grower. So amazing products. She puts so much love into it. And when you have a great source product and you put a lot of love into it, you end up with a great end product. And she does have many great products. So check out her product line. Like I said, I have so much love for Janet. And make sure, if you enjoyed what you saw or listened to today, you subscribe to the What Did Adam Say podcast. We are on YouTube, we are on Twitch, we are on Facebook. Within the next few weeks, we should be on Instagram as well, on live, and maybe a few other websites. So make sure to check it out and share with your friends if you enjoyed it. All right. That's gonna do it for me tonight. I'm gonna go hang with my fiance for a little bit. It's Friday night. It's time to turn up. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Good vibes to you. Peace.